All right, well, that brings me through to the main billing for tonight, which is Canva. So all sorts of tips and tricks and hints about Canva. And we have the Canva expert here to come and talk to us about it. Those that have met Jenny before or know Jenny know that she is the person who runs the program Canva Mastery for Business. She is the teacher on that. I know a couple of people have been on that before and been through that program with Jenny. She is an absolute whiz when it comes to this. I sit there looking over her shoulder sometimes, and she goes so fast, I've got no idea what she's doing, but it just looks fantastic at the end when she's finished. So let's, without further ado, give a big virtual round of applause to welcome Jenny to stage.
Thanks, Nick. That's such a warm welcome. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. It's really great to be back here and sharing with you what's new on Canva in 2024. And as you can imagine, there's a lot in the platform, particularly around the AI tools and apps that have been integrated with Canva. So I'm going to go through a lot of those today. But this session is for you. So there's a bit of a show and tell up the front end, and at the back end, I'll show you a little bit of the applications for some of those tools that we're looking at. But of course, feel free to jump in at any point. If you've got any questions about things that I'm doing, feel free to shout out. So I'm going to start off by just sharing my screen. And Nick, you can see that that's the homepage of Canva. Yep, excellent.
Yep.
All right, great. So I'm going to take this as though you're still quite new to Canva rather than just launching in and making assumptions that everybody knows what's going on. The first place to start is in this blue section at the top of the screen where it goes into just all the design options that you have. So Canva have actually introduced a whole range of different designs that you can create, or so templates that you can create from infographics. They've now got things like magazine covers that they didn't have before. What else is there? There's some reports, comic strips, which were there previously, but they've gone into more detail with that. Things like artistic CD covers, which I found quite interesting because I'm not too sure how many people still listen to have CD players in their homes. So that was quite interesting to see that. There's things in there that you can use for merchandising as well. So things like bookmarks for if you're writing a book, if you've got a program, for instance, and it's a bit of a giveaway that you want to put together. And also here we've got a phone wallpaper, for instance. So all of those templates you can have a look at by going into the left-hand column of the Canva navigation. And I'll try and keep you up to speed with where I'm at. Canva is probably the only platform I've ever used that has so many different navigations, and it changes depending on what screen you're in. So just on the left-hand side here, this is where you'll see all of the templates, and there are so many. We've got a whole range of business templates that you can tap into, social media templates. They've added things like TikTok videos, LinkedIn video ads, and I believe I saw earlier today, so Facebook ads. Really great that, and then the animated social media posts. So they're things where, objects or graphics on the screen are actually moving. So it's not just static and stationary. Of course, Canva actually started out providing tools for the education sector. So no surprises there. They've actually got quite a bit going on in the education space. And then video. So here we've got a feed ad video, we've got YouTube videos, video collages, mobile videos. These are fantastic. So I'm going to just click in there just to have a quick look. If I do click in the templates, it brings up a range of different options for me. And hopefully my internet is not going to be too grumpy with this weather. So you can see as I scroll down my screen here, there's all sorts of different videos that you can then choose and implement as part of your opening for, a lot of these are like welcome or breaking news, whatever you happen to be creating. What I like about this is that there are so many more choices. So if you just look at the top of my screen here, you'll see there are actually 4,945 templates for you to choose from in the YouTube templates alone. So there's a lot of scope for creativity. There's a lot of scope for you to be able to find something that you want that's specific to your needs and maybe just a little bit of alteration. So if you're like me and you might get a little bit impatient, you think maybe your design skills aren't up to scratch, this is fantastic because it solves the blank page issue and you can literally find something that suits your needs, even if you have to change some of the colors or the textile or things like that. They're minor things and most of the work is done for you. So that's where you'll find all of the templates. What's also new in this section is the photos. I was absolutely astounded. There are 89 million photos in here. That is incredible. What's so good about this, particularly if you are going to look for photos, is that you can do so from here. And then they've got a range of categories here. You can see backgrounds that you can choose from. And there, there's some of the examples. Let me go back. Holidays, Easter, food, water, so all different categories. Now, I was really curious about this, so I'll give you an example. They've got a category called AI, and hopefully I can find it. There it is. So if I click on AI, I can now see that there's 12,858 photos related to this category of AI. So it gives me plenty of options to be able to find something if I'm going to be speaking about AI, for instance, or wanting to be a little bit contentious in my marketing somehow. I've got a range of different options here. So really fabulous tool to be able to choose from. Those are the photos, and I would encourage you to explore that. So you'd simply find that on the left-hand side in the navigation, in the white navigation part.
Hello,
the
Jenny.
next aspect that they have. Yes, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. You did invite us to interrupt. Can I put pictures of my own product on top of these templates?
Absolutely, Colin. If you give me a moment, I'll show you how to do that as well.
Okay.
I'll make a note of it. So don't let me
Thank
forget,
you.
okay? All right. Excellent. So going down from here. So yes, to just answer Colin's question real quick, yes, you absolutely can. And I'll show you how to do that. So then the icons section is also fantastic. So guys, if you're in business, right, you're creating materials that people are going to be using. Infographics is one of the easiest things to create, and it is one of the most downloaded, options for people to click on. So people want infographics. There's not a lot of information in there, just like checklists. They're easy to do, and these icons are perfect places where you can start to use those features, right? So you can create an infographic. You can do so with the icons here, and you can pick something that's related to you. So I know that there is a couple of you on the call today who are in the property sector. So for instance, and you can do this from the photos as well and searching. So I'm going to type in housing in the icons. And if I have in mind, I'm going to create an infographic and I want my little icons to be houses, there is a bunch of different icons that I can choose from. So in here, there are 384,000. I mean, that's astounding to think that the platform has gotten to this point, right? So if you cannot find something here, I'd be asking some serious questions, right? And, you can see there's a range of black and white, color, and all sorts of, things that are looking almost real to very graphic and almost like the old word art sort of style of things. Really great. So today, I have a friend who is writing a book about van life. So actually, I just thought I'll try that. Let me type in van life in the search and see what I can find. So off I went. And lo and behold, there's 14 icons that I can use for van life. So I want to show you a little bit of an example of something I created earlier, but also how to get there. So I found this particular image, thought it was pretty cool, remind me of the combi van. So if I click on that from the icon section, I can now choose to use this in a design. So I said I was going to make an infographic. Let's use it in an infographic design. So you just click in use in design on the purple button, and I'm going to scroll down to the point where I can see infographic. There it is. And all it's giving me now is a template that is in the dimensions of an infographic, right? So the dimensions here I can see are going to be, if you go into File in the top hand blue menu on the left-hand side, underneath the untitled design, it tells you that these dimensions are 9.9 centimeters by 21 centimeters. So that's the infographic size. By the way, if I click on that there, I can actually change the name of this document to van life and just click enter and it's done. So there's my little icon, and really like this icon. Obviously, I haven't got anywhere near creating a infographic yet, but I want to make some changes to this icon. So, you know, my colors, I can go in and click on edit image. So the edit image again on the white toolbar in this particular section, which is at the top of the page. So edit image. And if I scroll down, there's a couple of options here. I can go into color mix, and then there's some things that it will do further down. So dual tones, bad TV. So these are, you know, different effects that it will create. For now, I just want to go into color mix and choose a color. So I'll choose pink, and I can resize that image now. So I'll make my screen, hopefully that zooms in. Does that zoom in? Yep, excellent. All right, so I can now make this a little icon, and I don't want this icon on its own. I actually want it to be in a circle. So if I go over to my elements, these are standard, you know, practices, very, you know, they've been around for ages in Canva, so it won't be nothing new. I'm going to change the color of this background to make it a lighter purple, let's say. Oh, that's terrible. Let's go with the gray so you can see. Make that circle white. There it is. I'm going to put my van in there. Now my van's disappeared, so I'm going to bring the position forward so that it's in front of the circle. Make that circle a little bit smaller. And now I've got the van and the circle kind of like centered, right? So it looks okay. I can click the right mouse button and go straight down so that it highlights both the circle and the van. And it gives me the option to group them. So if I do that and I group them, I can now change the dimension of that size for those two things together, as opposed to trying to do them individually and driving myself nuts. All right. So that is one of the features, and you can then go ahead and start to duplicate this. So there's a little duplicate toolbar on that image. And if I click that, it will actually duplicate it. So if I was doing an infographic, I'm just going to zoom out here. I would want, let's say, five reasons why you should, you know, live van life. And these are my little icons. So they're going to go down the page here. I'm going to have a title up there and that kind of thing. And I'm going to have some text here. All right. But I'm pressed for time, as we all are, right? And I don't want to think about what am I going to create around the 5 reasons why I should do van life. So I'm going to go back to the home page of Canva. I'm going to go back to home, and Canva, if you haven't had a chance to use it yet, this is really great about it. It's got just on the blue toolbar, there's a icon called Docs, and that's Canva's equivalent of a Word document. And I can click in there. That'll open up a document for me. Now I think this feature is in presentations, but it's not everywhere in Canva. Okay, so this is one of the things about Canva that you get used to, is that some features appear in some sections and not in others. And it's a bit of a mystery to me sometimes which one's going to be there and which one's not. The one I want to show you is the magic right, which we've covered before, but we click on the plus sign here on the document, and magic right is that first option. This is a great option if you want a quick lead magnet. You don't want to spend too much time and energy thinking about it. You just want to mock it up. So this gives me the option of creating a command or a prompt, and I can put something in. So I'm going to write the top 5 reasons to do van life, and then just click enter. Oh, generate.
That magic right's got a little gold crown next to it. Does that mean it's only in the paid version?
Possibly, Paul. I am in the paid version right now.
Yeah.
Are you in the?
No, I'm not in the paid version.
Okay. Do you have it there? Can you have a look for me? You don't have it?
No, I don't have the paid version, but I've got the same screen that you up with the magic right, and it's got a crown over there. It's yellow.
Well, just give it a go. Like if it's showing up, then it's possible it may work.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it says try it out.
Try it out. Okay, so it is a paid feature. Look, to be honest, I've been using Canva for over 10 years now, and they had to do something because, you know, like that was so good you wouldn't pay for it because the free stuff was so good. So they've actually, you know, made it more enticing to pay, and it's not terribly expensive at $20 a month, you know. So Magic Write has now created this lead magnet for me, and I can go ahead and insert that. Now, for my purposes, this is way too long, so I can actually make sure that when I'm doing the prompt, I can ask for, give me 5 reasons why I should do van life. Make sure that it's not longer than 100 words or 50 words or whatever, right? Because this is an infographic, we're not going to have a lot of time. So from there, I can actually then go off and copy and paste that into my infographic. Now, here's one I prepared earlier. So this is what the infographic can end up looking like. So I've put in some text in there. So I was a bit lazy today, and I just repeated the text just to give you, you know, what it could look like. And I've got a little bit of this thing there it is. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of what the end product could look like. And then you can just download that as a PDF or as a PNG file for people to use. Okay, so there's a couple of things in here that I've done that I'd like to just go back and show you. The first one is the gradients. So gradients are all the rage, it seems, in design now. And you can do gradients in terms of text, and you can also do gradient in terms of the background. So with this, I just use the stock standard gradient that Canva has down the bottom of their color screen. So if you just click on the color, it brings up the palettes of colors, and just down the bottom there is some gradients. So I can just choose which one I want. The other thing that you can now do in Canva, and this will be the first of the apps. So if I want to ungroup this for a moment, just to show you how this works, I'm going to take that van out, get rid of this circle, and I'll just get rid of that for cleanliness. All right. So with this, Canva have now introduced a new tool where you can create a reflection. So an example, let me show you how that works. So you'd go over into the left-hand column in the black navigation pane, and there's a option there called apps. And if you scroll down, you will see an app called Reflection, a reflection tool, or you can simply type it in. Easy reflections. There you go. And it's got a picture of a shoe on it. That's the one we want to use. And this is the van is currently highlighted now or selected. So it will allow me to create a reflection. And if I do that, it opens up some options So I can create a reflection so that it's below the van, above the van, or like left and right. What's happening here as well, I'm not sure if you're picking this up on the screen, but the opacity and the offset is also changing depending on which one I'm picking. So we can actually, if I just bring it back to left, you can see the offset toggle. I can change that to make it more or less visible, and the same with the opacity, more or less visible. So if I decide now I'm going to add that to the design, and let's make it below, add to the design. It puts it in my image, and you can see there it's upside down. So then it's up to me to kind of match that up in a particular way so that these are aligned. This is getting very finicky, and you can see that you could spend a lot of time procrastinating, but it just gives you an idea of what's possible. And really, you know, I like this tool. I like the fact that it can add that dimension, and I'll show you a couple of other ways that you can use this tool in just a moment. But that's one way to do that. Now, that is using the Reflections app. If you didn't want to use the Reflections app, I can just delete this right now. What you can actually do is you can go into here. I should say I've been, you know, going through this today, so I've accepted all the terms and conditions of all the different apps I'm going to show you, which God knows what that means in terms of my privacy and usage and all of that, right? So I haven't gone into that. And something you want to be aware of, a lot of these are independent plugins that are coming into Canva, so they all have their own terms and conditions, and you just want to be, you know, cognizant that that's going on. If I didn't want to use that reflection tool, I could actually get the same effect by simply duplicating that van, putting it down here, and I can actually then change the transparency of that van. So I can make it so that it's, you know, let's say 23% transparency. Okay, and well, what about upside down, Jenny? Well, Canva has this flip option. You can flip things left and right, and you can flip them vertical. So I get the same effect basically by doing that. And that's an option there. So this is van life. That was my infographic. When I finished it, I simply did the reflection tool, copied it out, and then changed the sizing, put a little header in, and off I went. One more way that you can use this, give me a second here. One more way you can use the reflection tool. If you're doing something like this. So I think this is kind of cool because it's a bit edgy. It gets attention, not just because of the shoes, but you've got that duplicate at the background with the other pair of shoes there. And that was simply just going in, finding an image. I'm just going to use something I've got already. So let's say, for instance, finding an image of here. Again, changing the opacity of that image, so the transparency, and then simply overlaying the image over it again. And I think that's kind of cool. And then you can just play with it. And if I double click on that photo, I can actually move the picture so that it's more to the center. And off we go. Any questions on that one? No? All right. So Colin, while we're here, I might just go and just show you this. So your question was if I used one of those photos. Colin, what are you most likely to create? An Instagram post, a Facebook post?
Probably a Facebook post it would be, or
Okay,
Instagram as well, and TikTok.
Okay, all right. And what image would work for you?
Well, I have my own product, which is very, very unique, and you wouldn't be able to get it there. So I would use some of the background material there, the background template, but I'd want to put my own product
on the
in
front of it.
position. Yeah.
All right. So allow me to have a little bit of poetic license here. I'm gonna choose books as the photos. So let's say we've got something like, maybe something like that. It's a little bit busy, but I'll show you what you can do with it. So we'll use that in the design. We'll use that as a Facebook post. And we'll just make it so that it covers the entire lot of it. Now with this from here, if these colors worked for your post, you could keep it like it is. If you wanted to change some of the color and the tone of this particular picture, you could do that by going into the filters and then just picking something that was closer to what you wanted.
Okay.
Now, if you're going to post, if you're going to put another image on top of that, what I would suggest is a couple of things. Number one, either changing the transparency of this image so that it was barely visible, so it doesn't detract from the image you're going to put on top. Or one of the other things that you can do is keep the transparency there, but also include and add, say, for instance, a square. And I like to use a bit like an ombre or a burnt ombre kind of color. I'll make that transparent. And I'll superimpose that over the books as well. Why do I do this? Because sometimes when you are using lettering on images like this, the text doesn't show up very well. Depending on the color of the text and depending on the color of your graphic. So can you see the difference between enter your text here on that side and then over here? So sometimes it just works to have a bit of an overlay on your design for that reason. And that text looks really, really hard to read anyway, but there you go. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this for now. If you were to, let's get rid of that too. There's your background. What I would suggest with that is that you then go ahead and lock it into position, because that means that anything that you superimpose or put on top of is not going to, that background isn't going to move now. If you don't lock it in place, what ends up happening is you accidentally pick it up and move it with you and the design. So now if I wanted to put this guy who's taking a photo on top of that, I could do that quite easily. And that would be your product essentially, Colin. All right. Let me just go over to my trusty list here. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at today is the photo enhancer. So I've done this already, and you can have a look at it, and then I'll show you how it's done, because again, I wasn't sure how good the internet was going to work. So this photo enhancer, what it allows you to do is essentially just upload your photo into the photo enhancer app, and then it will make it look better. So let's have a look at what I've got here. I've got an image of Perth by night. And on the left-hand side is the original photo. I can go across here. And on the side is the enhanced photo. Can you see the difference in those? Like it's quite subtle, but if you look, for instance, the lighting, so I'm just going to bring this across a bit. If you look at the red lettering on the water, on the left-hand side versus the right-hand side, you can start to see some little details, particularly around the lighting. So this is the enhancement in place. Is that visible, Paul? You're on mute.
I think he said yes.
I think so too. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me show you how this works.
Very subtle, unlike me being on mute.
Look, it probably would work better on a photo, and so let's give it a go. So you go into apps, and this one is the enhancer. So let me see the enhancer one. So it's actually called enhancer. And you choose your file. So what I don't like about this is that you might already have pictures you've uploaded in Canva. It's not going to go there. You actually have to have it, you know, outside of that. So let's have a look at this. Well, some of these are hard. Let's try this one. And I'll put the original in as well. So, and then you just click enhance image. So there's a little toggle there. It's a bit quick, but if you've got faces, you can actually activate that toggle and it will enhance the faces as well. It does take a while, which is why I prepared one earlier today. And if you click out of this, by the way, if you get impatient, it stops. And so you have to start again. So I recommend going for a bit of a break and coming back if you had to. All right, so down here, add to design, and then let's see if we can see any differences. All right, bearing in mind this isn't probably the best. So this is the way that it's enhanced the photo. And let me find the photo and I'll put it in there as well. One of the new things with Canva is you don't actually have to go through the long way of uploading. You can actually just drag and drop onto your picture and it will upload the pictures now. So let's keep the left the original and the right is the enhanced. And I'm going to zoom in. So can you see how that's a lot sharper?
Yeah, and you can see the difference on that building where the victim in the front's got his foot in their windows.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the spire in the background's a bit clearer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's much sharper.
So you'll find that if you've got like wispy hair in the original photo, it'll matte it down or soften it so that you don't, you know, sort of see it. These are great. Obviously, you know, Nick mentioned a couple of you writing books. If you've got photos that are not so great, you might want to use this enhancer and see what kind of results you get from that. All right, so the next one to look at is the landing page. Okay, so going again into the apps, there is a lot of AI apps in Canva. Maybe I'll just pause for a second. You'll find the apps in the app section, obviously, and there's a lot in there that involve things like AI voiceovers. So these are AI generated voiceovers where you could potentially put a script in. You can find an actor in some of those cases, like the DID AI. So this one here, you can actually upload a picture of yourself and then choose the voice and get it to play that voice and the script that you're saying, all AI generated, which is really amazing. So if you're not someone who likes to be on video, that's potentially an option for you. There's a number of other AI tools that do similar things. So in terms of the AI voices, the AI images, so there's a number of tools in here that will generate an AI image. So you put in a description and it will generate the image. When we first started looking at this within Canva, some of those images were really obscure and they didn't make sense, and some of them were downright frightening. Depending on the app you use, sometimes it's still the case. Like earlier today, I generated an image with one of those AI apps, and people in the image, that was cartoon anime, but you know, they didn't have faces, so it's a little bit scary. You don't want to zoom in, so maybe it's a from a distance kind of thing. But here's a landing page. So you can create your landing pages for your websites. You can actually launch your own website from Canva. So this is one I prepared earlier, but there's a new tool in Canva called Sound Drawer. And this one, I like sound, and I'm thinking about it from this perspective. You created a landing page. So Paul, you know, I'm going to pick on you here, but you've created a landing page specifically to commemorate and celebrate the person whose funeral you've just filmed, and you want to give the people who are coming to this landing page an experience. And so you might want to put some sound to that. So all you're going into is the apps, and then you're picking out Sound Drawer, it's called, and you can either choose one of the options that are here, and I'm hoping that my computer is going to play sound because I did forget. Let's try it and see. So far, nothing. Oh, here we go. Can you hear that? You can't hear it? No? All right. You're going to have to trust me at this point, unless I can find the settings. One sec. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. There is a setting in Zoom that will allow me to play the music from my computer, but I cannot find it right now.
Jenny, if I may,
if you go into here, it does allow you to. Angie, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I didn't realize I didn't have my mic plugged in. If I may, I can direct you where to go. At the top of your screen, you've probably got the floating bar, with all your share. Once you share screen, you've got your mic, your video, and then there's a whole lot of things on it along the top. Yeah.
Yep.
At the very top right, there's 3 dots. If you click into those and go down, scroll down to share sound.
I found it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate that. So here's one of the sounds preloaded in here. You can hear that. Super cool, right? So if you're going to create that experience, Paul, again, I'm coming with you specifically.
I can imagine that at a funeral.
Yeah, maybe not that one. All right, so what it allows you to do is choose the style, right? So you can choose something that's sentimental, that is ambient, and that is, let's say, motivating, inspiring, because you know, that was that kind of person. And then you can choose how long it's going to go for. So is it going to be something that's 10 seconds, 90 seconds, etc.? So let's just try 10 seconds and see what this generates. Takes a little bit of time to do that. It gives you a number of different options. You can see it's 23, 21, 16. And off we go. So if I wanted to then use that, for instance, I could just go ahead and click use. Again, I've accepted all the terms and conditions earlier, and then it would put it into my presentation. So, I'm using this as a landing page. You can also use this function in your presentations, and that's perfectly fine too. So there's actually 2 sounds here. I might just get rid of this one for the moment. Just 30 seconds. And if you wanted to have a look at my presentation, we could then. So it's only 10 seconds and this presentation is a bit longer, but it just gives you that idea, right? Really great. And if you wanted to then share that, I could share this presentation with you by just simply copying the link. And for demonstration purposes, I will put it in the chat if I can find that. There we go. And you would then have the ability to view that in your own time. So a nice little touch, like if you are putting music to these things and then you're sending it out to clients or you're sending it out to somebody, that they're able to have a look. So, and, you know, you're like in the coaching space, you might put something together that is motivating and inspiring for your clients, right? Like I put my own little hypnosis together and I could see creating a bit of a landing page that has its own music. I'm not violating any copywriting rights. And, you know, I can do this quite easily and share it with people by just sending the link. You know, it's just a nice, easy tool. I do like music. I prefer music to TV. So for something like this really appeals to me because it just adds to creating that environment online for people.
Jenny, could I just ask on this one, the Poochie Soak, you've got book your soak. Is that a functional button? And if so, how do you get your functional button in there?
Perfect. Okay, so it can be a functional button. I don't believe we've published this website, but essentially what I would do, so I've created that button. The 3 dots allow me to create a link. And the link can go either in this document itself. So if I went to contact, then it would go to contacts. And that would be done. And so if you're looking at this, so if you clicked on that link I put in the chat and you were looking at this and you clicked on book your soak, ideally it would take you to that contacts page, right? Now, if this was a website that you were creating and you wanted book your soak to actually go to your Calendly link or whatever other tool you're using for people to be able to book into your calendar, you would do the same thing. So you'd click on the 3 buttons, you'd go to, well, edit link in this case. And this time I don't want it to be a page. I actually want it to be an address. So I can, this is going to be a fake, but I can paste in my Calendly link there. So let me just find something real quick. I can actually just paste that in. So now if you go and click on that link, it'll take you to SmashGo homepage. So that's how you would activate it. But yes, you can definitely, and once you publish your website, all of that will be visible for people as well.
And is the button in Elements on the left-hand side? Yeah.
Okay. So the button we would go into, so in Elements, you can actually create a button. And that gives you a range of like different options for graphics or photos. So generally, I would pick something in the graphics section. So let's say I pick this one just for argument's sake. And then I would go into text. I would add the text. And then I would be doing the selecting. So selecting both the yellow button and the text together, grouping that, and then go off and add the link. Make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, great.
No problem. All right. How are we going for time there, Nick? All right. I need to hurry up a little bit, don't I?
Just 2 hours.
Okay. Back in apps, there is an app called Imagine. IMAGEN. Imagine. This is one of those apps that will convert the text that you put in into an image. So earlier today, I'm not going to show you now, but earlier today I put in women networking. It's so hard. You know, we looked at this before, 89 million photos. And if you're looking for something specific about women networking, it's so hard to find pictures. So anyway, I just put it in women networking and speaking, and these are the images that are generated. I'm going to zoom in again so you can have a look and see the quality of those images. My internet's bugging out a little bit, but not bad, right? Like, it doesn't look super scary. Like some of these AI generated pictures sometimes can look a bit freakish, but this looks all right. I think that works. I also used that tool. I typed in I typed in photographer taking photos of flowers. This is where I think technology sometimes is biased, because what about photographer says it has to be male, but there you go. I got male photographers. There you go. And again, those images look really good. And this is all AI generated. Any questions on that one? It's pretty straightforward. It really comes down to your imagination and what you're putting in. Some of the prompts work better than others. And so it's just a little bit of playing around in that. Sometimes you're going to have to add more description in the image that you're looking for, and other times you'll get away with just a few words. All right, so pixelize it. That's another one. I'm not going to go too much into this, but mainly because I'm not sure how many of you are really going to use this as an option for your business. And I don't want to waste time going into something like this if you're really not going to use it. Again, in the apps, and if you type in pixelize it, basically what it's doing is it's taking an image. And so the image was of a rose gold car, and then just made it looking like that cartoony kind of image. All right, this one was pretty cool, I have to say. It's called Open Rep, and in Open Rep, it's my playing around earlier today. In Open Rep, what you do is, again, apps, type in Open Rep, it'll come up, and it asks you to describe what you'd like to post. So here I put the goal as the website clicks. That's what my goal was, but I could choose informative, or I could choose newsletter sign up. So website clicks it is. The tone of how I wanted it to sound was authoritative and expert, but if I wanted something else, I could go ahead and choose that. So it's got casual and comedic, friendly and professional, serious and empathetic. That's amazing. Like, this is all AI generated, right? I do think that that's incredible. I went ahead and put a little bit of a description in about my business. So my business sells personal development programs for women age 40 plus, blah, 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 blah. And then who my audience is. So my audience is female CEOs and female business owners. Then what I did is I selected either Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever I want. They've got YouTube and Google My Business here. And then I go ahead and generate the captions. And so what it's generated now is, just gonna make that, is this text. So have a listen to this. Empower your journey to success and self-discovery. Our personal development programs are meticulously crafted for women like you, ambitious, visionary CEOs and business owners turning over 500K plus. And then it goes on, we at whatever, you can put in your business name, understand the unique challenges you face. Our programs offer strategies to develop a winning mindset, overcome blind spots, and heal past traumas, and on it goes. It also gives you the hashtags that you can use for that post. And as I read through this, I could see that this is actually potentially 3 different posts. So the first one would be that first sentence at the top. The second one could quite easily be at, She Leadership, We Understand. And then the third post on a different diagram and things could be dive into a community where growth is nurtured. What I really liked about this is sometimes if you're using ChatGPT or Copilot and you're asking it to write for you, it comes out with this language that is like, nobody uses that language, right? Like, I don't know, what is it? Adjectives, Nick? What is it that it just gets thrown with all this flowery language? This is language that I would use. This is language that I feel like people that I'm targeting would resonate with. And it's just created me 3 really great posts that I could then go off and use. So I really like this tool. I would encourage you to have a bit of a play with it and see how it works for you. I created some different, so I selected different things for it. So the first one was ask it to generate for Facebook, which it did. The second one for LinkedIn, which was slightly different. So the tone is changing each time. The third one was for Google My Business. And so it's something I could put on my Google My Business page. And then the last one was for YouTube, which again, I can use for my YouTube channel. So really great tool. Have a play. Let me know what you think of it. All right. So before we definitely run out of time, Gordon, I can see that you're here. This one is just for you. It's for everybody else as well, but I know Gordon likes charts and he's a numbers guy. So I'm going to put this one in for him. This particular tool, so Canva has had charts for a while. They're really great, but they've gotten even better. And the ability to now use them in things like your presentations or your reports, because now they have these templates for reports, is really fantastic. With the charts, you've got a range of different charts, from bar charts, pie charts, line, you've got charts, eat your heart out. There are also some new features, so some interactive charts in there as well. Now, how the charts work, what I did to get this happening, and because we were thinking about Gordon here today. See, Gordon, you don't talk to me, but I still think of you. I went over to photos and typed in houses. My toolbar's just a little bit hidden here. Okay, so houses, Houses. And actually I put, because, like sometimes with this stuff, 89 million, maybe I can find Australian houses rather than just houses in general. Let me see. All right, enter. Australian house photos. All right, so we've got Parliament House here. But anyway, off we go, right? So it's not too bad. Like there's some pretty good options in here. Obviously, if Sydney Harbour is coming up and you're someone who's going to be specializing in Queensland property, for instance, then there's nothing stopping you from putting in Queensland houses and seeing what you get. So from here, I did the same thing that I've explained before. I went and created a design, and the design I created was actually just a presentation. So here it is. And what I did was put the house in the background, made the transparency quite low so that I could now put the graphic on top. Now, if you are using graphics, what happens is you pick the graphic that you're looking for. So let's say that we choose this particular graphic. Oops, sorry. Let me get rid of this. So we've got this particular graphic. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller so you can see that on my page. And it allows you now to either enter the details for that graph in manually, or you can upload a CSV file. I am not a data's person, so I went and copied something off the Bureau of Statistics, and it was simply around like the number of, well, this is looking at how many bedrooms properties in the Gold Coast have compared to Queensland and the others. Now you can see here my image of my house is probably a little bit too dark still, and so it's hiding the results. So there we have it. So that's one example of how you can use the graph in there. And it's just then a matter of like positioning and stuff, this is fighting me a little bit because the internet's not working. Here we go. Right, so once we've had a fight with that, that's all working now. Gordon, that's one option for you there. The other new option within Canva, and what I really like about it, is that you can actually put this type of graph in, and it's under the interactive charts. So interactive charts, there's 3 options there. And does anyone remember Prezi? It was a PowerPoint software that you could use, and it had this really great feature about it where you could actually zoom in. So if you were doing a presentation and you clicked on a particular area of that PowerPoint, it would zoom in. So that's what this is doing now. If Gordon, if you're doing a presentation and you want to talk about the 4-bedroom dwellings within the Gold Coast, you can go ahead and click on the 4-bedroom section and it would expand that out, right? So ideally what you've got is you've got this text that then you're talking about this particular 4-bedroom place, for instance, blah, 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 and there's your text in relation to it. Now, you could zoom out of that and then go into the 2 bedrooms and then talk about the 2 bedrooms. And ideally, if you were doing this kind of example, you'd have this slide replicated for the amount of times that you're going to talk about it, you know? So if you've got 4 bedrooms on one slide, 3 bedrooms on the other, 2 bedrooms. So every time you're moving across, the text related to that is quite different. The other option is to have the circles here. So you could then do the same thing, but this time it's in that circle format. I thought that was pretty cool for somebody who's not a numbers person or a graphs person. So for those of you geeks out there who are really interested in graphs and numbers, that'll be for you. All right. One last thing that I want to show you, and this is mainly like if you are putting things together and let's say that you've got a team. So you've got a graphic design team and you want to present a bit of a concept to them. So Gordon's put this together. He's got the numbers in there. He likes how that looks. Now he wants his graphic design team to go ahead and fix it all up and blah, blah, blah. But he wants to be able to see what does it look like if we put some text in there. Rather than do a whole copy and paste, what he can do is he can go into the apps and he can search for, let me see if I can find it. All right, help me out here, guys. It's the Latin word for the text that people put into websites and stuff when they're not ready.
You mean lorem ipsum?
That's it. That's what I'm looking for. All right, lorem ipsum. This is good. I quite like this tool. So I believe it's the pink one there. You'll open. All right, so it gives me the option of putting words, sentences, or paragraphs in. So I can select what I'm going to do. So in this case, I'm going to put a paragraph. I can choose the number of paragraphs that I want, 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. Or I can go into sentences. So 3 sentences, 2 sentences, for instance, or words. Now you saw before when I was choosing this particular one, there are other options. The other options give you just the number of words and the size of the font. So have a play and see what works for you. But just as an example, I can then add it to the design. There it is. Adjust it as I need to, make it bold, whatever. And there it is. So I get a feel for how does this look if it's got text in it? Is it going to work? Do I need to adjust my graphics? Do I need to make them darker, lighter, that kind of thing? Really, really great tool. All right. One last one before we go, Nick. I know we're going over time. I really like doing designs sometimes in Canva, and I find that even though this is really great and I can type in a blob, for instance, these are all preset, right? And they look kind of cool in your designs for different things depending on what you're doing, but you're limited here. Again, in the apps, Canva has a Can Blob app, which is great, and it will actually create these blobs for you. I'm not going to go into it because we are over time, but just as an example, here's something. So instead of just creating one blob, it becomes a whole bunch of blobs, and they can be any color that you like. There we go. And again, we've talked about this today. If I select all of those together, I can then group them, which means I can move them all as one image as opposed to what they really are, which is separate images. So I've taken it from that, and I'm now going to use that as a background for something I'm going to create. So I can go ahead and change the color if I want, set it to the background, and then go into my little elements, find a cow, there it is, and then just bring it across, and there's my little image there. You know, we're in the space of marketing where we're constantly doing things to try and get attention from our market. So I would encourage you guys to just have a look at this stuff, have a look at what's available, have a play, and yeah, go out and find what your favorite thing is. Thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Fabulous. Excellent. Any questions at all? All right, what have we got? Oh, we do have a question there about QR codes.
QR codes.
QR codes, yep.
I see it has the ability to make QR codes. I just thought of this today when I was doing some work with a colleague, and I thought, how cute. Sometimes I get approached when I'm just about to start a live stream. Someone says, "Has this been live streamed?" And I go like, "Yeah." And they say, "What's the link?" "Sorry, I am busy." But if I could quickly just either on my phone or print it on a piece of paper, here, scan that. So
yeah, and in fact, you could just have it as your screensaver on your phone, right?
yeah.
So I've just brought up a Square Instagram post. It's the easiest thing to just demo that all. Go into apps. So I've already copied the link that I want it to go to.
Yep.
This QR code, I think, is one of the better ones. It's not complicated.
Okay.
You just simply enter the URL, and you can put your Calendly link in there, for instance, if you're wanting people to book a call and you want a QR code for that. Just click.
There's a heap of, when you search QR in the apps, there's a squillion of them. So
yeah, this one is the best one, I think, because it's simple, and there it is. Now, if you guys scan that with your phone, it'll take you to the Smash Go homepage.
yeah. So could I have one that's a template that is easy just to put a different URL in each day?
What do you mean?
Like, well, if it say had my branding on it, or
Yeah.
you know, today's funeral is at, or you know,
Okay,
yeah,
fabulous.
and my
First,
logo in the middle of it or something like that, you know.
yeah. Okay. So here's a great thing about Canva. Okay. So I take your point. Let's pretend that this was designed exactly to your branding, right? And it was uploaded to your website. So what you could do here is you could have a page that is on your website that is the same page that you send everybody to. But this week you're going to A's funeral and you're filming A's funeral. So this QR code is going to be A's, you know, and for anyone who wants to go there.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to create this in Canva. There's the QR code, gives everybody the information that they need, right?
Yeah.
Then you're going to go into share and you're going to click more. And where did we see this, Nick? I'm now forgetting. You can embed. So when you, there's a bit of a tech process around this, Paul, but essentially when you embed this particular thing into your website, anyone who's going to your website that day is going to find that QR code for A's funeral. Now, next week is B's funeral, and you're going to change this QR code, right? So we're going to get rid of that QR code. We're going to put another QR code in, and it's going to update on your web page automatically.
Okay.
So all you have to do is change it there, and it's going to, now, this is in theory. We haven't had a chance to test it out, but that's what the technology is telling us it's going to do and how it's going to work. So that's one thing that you could potentially do.
Okay. I was thinking not for putting on a website because they're always unlisted. They're not public.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On Vimeo, but it'd be the same if it was going to YouTube. But if you know, if I had, say, well, I had 3 last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So on Tuesday, I'd need to generate 3 codes, perhaps with the person's name on the top of it, because that may, let's say, the embarrassing of giving someone the wrong one to link to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it just means that whether I print it or have something on my phone, it's here is the link. Even send them the QR, because at the moment I send them a blah, 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 this long URL.
Yeah.
Click here to join the live stream. And that gets out of the last minute thing when someone walks in and says, I didn't get the link. Do you know what it is? And I said, yeah, I certainly do, but I'm live streaming now. I'm too busy. Or say, here it is, you just click here.
On a piece of paper. Yeah.
Yeah. And instead of me having to go to my phone, get the link, what's your email address or phone number, and you know what I mean? So, and I could have one for Nick's funeral and Lorena's funeral and Colin's funeral.
No, you're not having one for mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to have a template, that's got my logo in it, Paul's Productions, and a space where I could write Nick Cree, and the link would take it to links. Yeah. So it could do all that in here.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, righto.
Yeah.
I shall explore further. Thank you.
Okay, that's all right. Anyone else?
Jenny, I'm a little bit confused here. I saw you share and embed it, but where were you embedding it? Because it didn't go anywhere. How do you get it from here to there, from A to B? I just thought, must be really smart.
No, we didn't do that. And there's a little bit of tech involved in that, but essentially this is something you could then, so for instance, I'm running a series of workshops, right, on imposter syndrome. They're going to be different dates and different times throughout the month of April. So my team could create this QR code for each new workshop and just do it in here. And the embedding part is, that's where we get Nick to help us, but essentially that's where it goes on your website. So you would copy that code into your website.
Okay.
So maybe just go to the embed, Jenny, and so we can see the code.
Yeah.
Okay, just click the embed and then, and it's the top code there. So you see where it says the copy button. So you click that copy button, then you open up a page in your website that you're editing. And if here's the techie, but if you're in WordPress, you need to be in the text editor, not the visual editor, and you can paste it there, save the page, and then that image would appear on that page. So when you come back to Canva and then you want to go and change that image there, or that QR code, you can go and change it. And when it changes in Canva, it also changes on your website. So your website's just a copy of what's in there.
So you wouldn't need to put the URL into the embed again. It would just change. Okay. That sounds good. Yeah.
So if you had a landing page, you could have a QR code maybe in the corner that people could scan to take them to wherever you wanted them to go. Or I'm sorry, I'm trying to think, but I'm probably getting all confused, but I'll just sit on it and watch the replay.
Yeah. The QR code, the thing with the QR code is you want to think about where are you using it and why, and how are people consuming your stuff? Okay, so if you have a QR code on a downloadable resource, then it's possible if I'm downloading the resource from the internet on my phone, your QR code there also needs to be able for me to be able to click on it, because otherwise I'm looking at it on my phone. What am I going to scan it with? Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you've got a printed banner or something that's printed and then people are scanning that, Andrew's book is coming out. Let me scan this banner and then I'm going to be able to get to the landing page of your book.
Okay.
From that.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you for that. Great. Thanks, Jenny. Wonderful presentation.
Yeah.
Don't mind you going over.
We've still got an hour and a half to go, haven't we?
Where's my wine?
All right. Any other questions there at all? Excellent. Well, let's give Jenny a huge round of applause. She is the Canva Ninja After all. There is heaps of stuff you can do inside Canva as well. And that really has only just scratched the surface of it. One of the important things is that it is a bit of a rabbit hole too. So you can spend a lot of time in there and achieve nothing because you've just gone down the rabbit hole of playing with things. So it is good to have a bit of a goal about, what is it you want to achieve, stick to that and really get it done. But if you have a look around at all those apps and tools that are inside it, there are hundreds of them there. And Jenny's just really sort of shown, some of them there, but there's lots and lots there. All right, well, we do have a prize draw for tonight. So for those that are still here, we actually did a session. I know there's a couple of you that did that, which is the Canva Mastery for Business. So we ran that, I think, sort of 3 times last year, and we did record it as well too. So we do have a replay of that, and that was specifically around helping you with your marketing and using some of those tools to drive your marketing, with Canva. So even things like scheduling posts to your social media platforms, creating all the visuals and content for it, and it all just happens in Canva, even publishing a landing page inside Canva as well too. So Jenny sort of did a full walkthrough of all of that there. It is tutorial style, and it really is a stop-start video, so you can stop it, try some things, and then start the video and do the next thing as well too. So we are going to draw that. I'm just hoping that Gordon doesn't win it because he actually did the course. But if he does, we will find something appropriate to instead as well too. So let's bring up our wheel of names and let's go and draw that. Everyone's name's in the wheel of names. A couple of people dropped off early, so if we draw them, it just means that we get to redraw it. So let's spin that wheel. And virtual drum roll. Almost Angie, but it's me. Is Anthony here? Let's have a look. I'm having a look through all the names at the moment. He has gone. So let's remove him. And Angie, you got another chance. So let's draw it again. And round it goes again. And it's coming up to, I was close there. Billy Lawrence, there you go. Man, a winner once again. So fabulous. Oh, Bill, well, what we'll do is organise a login for that for you, send all that through to you. That's on the website as in our course portal there, so you can log in and sort of run through it at your own pace. Of course, any questions on how to get in, just sing out, and happy to help you with that too. So congratulations, and looking forward to some incredible artwork from you from that.
Didn't you say there was going to be 2 draws on that tonight?
Is that what I said, was it? Oh, well, why not? Let's bring it up again. Come on, since Paul's asked. Have you still got it there, James or Lorena? Yep, there we go. You don't get if you don't ask, do you? So let's hit it again. All right, one more time. Oh, it's gone past Paul's name. It's gone past it again. I was going past Gordon there.
Jeff.
And it's Jeff. There we go. Sort of the killer from Manila. So there we go. Jeff's still on the call, I think, aren't you, Jeff?
Yeah, I can see him.
Oh, that's right. He is there too. He's probably gone off to make dinner in the background there.
Didn't you say there was going to be 10 winners tonight?
Well, now we're just pushing the friendship just a bit too far.
Must have been something in the ice cream tonight.
Yeah, it had to be, eh? Had to be. Excellent. All right. Well, that is our session tonight. Now, I should say too that Canva Mastery for Business, we are going to run that again this year because there have been so many changes. I wish that we could just replay what we've got, but because there are sort of other changes in as well, we are going to do it live again. So we'll let you know when that's back out again. Well worth enrolling in, even if you know how to use Canva. There are some things in there that Jenny walks through that really helps to boost what you do as well too. So obviously we've got all your email addresses. We'll email that out when it's ready to go again. Again, if you want to watch this again, it will be up on the YouTube channel, the Smash Go YouTube channel tomorrow afternoon. So feel free to go and subscribe, click the bell, that'll let you know when it is up. And the link for that is in chat now as well too. If you're not a member of the Facebook page, just search Business Owners Smashing It Online and go and join there as well. We'll be back again on April the 2nd, and the registration link is in chat to register for that as well too. And if you want to save the chat, now is probably a good time to do it by clicking those 3 little dots either down the bottom or up on the top right. Yeah. So depending on which version of Zoom you've got, how big your chat window is. So if you do that now, when you do save it too, there is a link that comes up that you can actually click on to find it on your computer, so you don't lose it in all the downloads or whatever it happens to be. All right, well, that's our session for tonight. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, Jenny, for all of that research you've done. She spent a lot of time doing that, and for presenting that tonight. And I look forward to seeing all of your fabulous and beautiful faces again here next week.